Good morning, welcome, hello. It is I, your pal, J.Ishiro, author and alien in a human suit, who has written and published many a great graphic novel and novella. Go to Amazon, buy one, like Case File Arkham. It's not woke. In the meantime, Kat isn't with me quite
Yes, I
yet.
am.
Oh, here you are.
I had to pop out of my dimension.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone.
I was going to explain about when fighter jets go into battle, they drop their fuel tanks.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah, what's that called again? Didn't they have a term for that?
I think it's dropping the tanks.
Oh, I thought they had like a term for it.
Yeah.
Anyway. Oh well, good morning, everyone. Yeah, hello, Catherine. Hello, Samuel I, Retneck.
Star storyteller.
Hey, Yang. I need to get back to you. I keep I've been busy. I apologize. I will hop onto Discord today.
So we had a bit of a reaction to yesterday's podcast.
Yes.
How the dating world sucks.
And yeah, we thought that it was important enough to hop on and talk about it with all of you.
Hey, Catherine, got your email? We will talk, definitely.
Oh, good morning, Winter Wolf. And in disguise.
You know, actually, Catherine would probably be great for a show like this.
Oh, yeah.
So we should get her on sometime for that.
Definitely.
Okay, what was yesterday's show about?
Yesterday's show was about...
Oh, it was the one about the Mexican Snow White and the little vatos?
There was that, yes.
Oh, wait, that was a different show.
Pequeño Vatos.
The Pequeño Vatos,
yes.
Yeah. Which is a movie I'd actually see.
I totally see that, especially if it was like a real chola.
Yeah. And, you know, the evil stepmom, it works.
Well, you know, that's where you can get like Santa Muerte in there. And, you know, but again, it has to be done like a telenovela.
Wait, we're getting a question here.
You
have a Discord?
No, Yang does.
Oh.
Oh, your computer's still in the shop? Okay. Well, I think you put up how to make... I'm sorry, people. Yang is
looking for playtesters.
Yeah, and I need to still roll up my character. What's wrong with me? I have a game and I haven't rolled up a character yet. What's wrong with me?
Yeah, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Jesus Christ.
What are you thinking, lady?
I'm going downhill fast. Anyway. Anyway, back to the subject. No, we talked long about relationships and the dating scene yesterday, and you know, a lot of you had a lot of really good comments, but in the comment section this morning, Cthulhu Patang posted the following, and we thought that it was important enough to address. Actually, can you open it up a little bit so I don't have to scroll? There we go. Please excuse me. Okay, I'm going to throw a comment on at the beginning of watching. This will please the algorithm and ED an observation about dating based on your first comments. I have not dated in a very long time. I have not tried to find someone in a very long time. We live in a world where if someone disagrees with you or the date goes anything less than stellar, or even significant time later you get into an argument, they will destroy your life. The internet is littered with viral videos and posts about bad dates. Look at that one guy. About that guy in New York that ghosted a girl after 2 dates. Look at how that one guy, Aziz Ansari, got dragged and had his career impacted for a while because somebody posted a semi-anonymous accounting of a bad date, and people didn't rest until they dug up who he was to destroy his life. I am not saying there's anything wrong with being trans, but now when you go into a dating site, you can't trust the description of the profile. Then if someone rejects them, they are declared phobic. What you call woke shit is so prevalent that it's impossible to navigate even the most basic meet and greets without running into some kind of minefield. And then even if you get past the initial meet and greet, it's inevitable these days that you will find that something you said did light back 20 years or more is no longer considered acceptable, and at best I might find myself dragged. At worst, they may try to ruin my life and job opportunities. Very important points.
Lots of very important points. I'll start with the easy one, really, the easiest of all. Okay? Getting dragged for something you said 20 years ago. You know, when the internet suddenly became mainstream and it was no longer the Wild West for just the people in the know, I honestly thought, just like how it was in the Wild West, we would reach a point where so much dirt on everybody would be so readily available, that so many people's search histories would be so readily available, so many pictures of people's butts, tits, and dicks would be so readily available that stuff would have no impact. That after a while, it's like, okay, look, we've all fucked up. We've all said stupid shit. We've all done dumb things. Who's to judge? And just leave it at that. I really thought that's where we were going, because frankly, within the Wild West of the net at that time, that was kind of the attitude.
Yeah.
I am thoroughly dumbfounded that we've got this environment where, as funny as it is, the fact that, who was it? Medicare found out that Linkara was jerking off to the blue, what is it, the blue M&M?
Green.
The green M&M. That is funny. But we all know that Jim has his own things in his search
his search parameters.
Yeah, he's got his own skeletons in his closet. And in the scheme of things, you can throw barbs, but really, is he any place to judge?
Yeah. You know, I don't know a single person who doesn't have weird shit in their search algorithms there. So
yeah, let's make it easy. You know, I have got a big folder of women with robot legs.
Yeah, there you go.
And I don't mean like the sci-fi ones. I mean women with real robot legs.
Yeah, prosthetics.
Yeah.
And things. Yeah.
Posing nude. I think it's hot.
Actually, it is hot.
I mean, I think a lot of people would think that's thoroughly a freaky, bizarre thing. No, I'm not a stump lover, and I'm not into women with no limbs, which are apparently also fetishes.
Everything's a fetish.
No, I'll be
nipple fucking's a fetish.
Oh, God. I'll be perfectly clear. If I were single, oh man, this is kind of fucked up.
No,
but you know, do it.
I don't care.
There was once when I walked.
I am secure in the ring on my finger, so go ahead.
I walked into a Starbucks once, and there was a woman in a wheelchair who had arms and legs that were all prosthetic, right? She was attractive. She was in crazy good shape. She had abs. You could tell whatever this woman was doing, she was still an athlete, even though
something very tragic happened.
Actually, I looked her up. Apparently, she was a local celebrity in San Diego.
Oh, okay.
And I had thought my first thought was, okay, mountain biking accident.
Oh.
Because you remember how there were all those mountain biking chicks in San Diego, and mountain bikers, there was that whole phase when Gen X wasn't old, and we would ride down hills and fly off. And you'd get those chicks with just horrible injuries.
Well, they were doing a lot of practicing at the lake near us. So.
Yeah. So you get a lot of these mountain bike women who, you know, with the nose ring and the shaved head with injuries all over them. So I figured, okay, you had the worst mountain bike injury ever. I actually looked her up and found out she had a degenerative disease as a child.
Oh, geez, poor thing.
And so she went from being like a track and field person to a crippled track and field person, and didn't let it stop her.
Good for her.
But yeah, I saw her in that with the limbs, and my thought was, yeah, I'd do her, but I'd ask her to keep the limbs on.
That's fine.
Wires and all.
That's fine.
See, and supposedly now that would be dirt, right? Why?
Why?
Okay.
Why would that be dirt? I get it. You still find her attractive, so fine.
We've said a wealth of offensive humor, like saying that they should cast a kid with Down syndrome to play Bizarro.
Indeed.
That's not. And the thing is everybody's said stuff like this. Everybody has done stupid, embarrassing things.
Dread Pirate Bromanda says, to be fair, Tucker seems to be into the brown M&M shoes.
Oh yeah, there was that whole thing how they unsexied her.
Is that it now? I heard that they unsexied her, but I thought they got rid of her. The description was they got rid of her go-go boots for sensible sneakers.
And her full luscious lips and eyelashes.
So she's no longer female.
She's a whammon who don't need no man.
God, I hate them.
Yeah.
I hate them a lot. It's a fucking M&M and I hate them. Okay. Anyway.
But yeah.
People are making good comments, so I'm going to pause the chat so that we don't lose
them.
them.
I don't really, of course, when I was younger, I went for all the really weird chicks anyway.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I dated the chick with green hair because she had green hair.
Well, and then, you knew that wheelchair chick who did the ball busting.
I would never date her.
I didn't say you dated her.
She's terrifying.
I'm just saying you knew her.
Yes, I knew her. She was terrifying.
She's funny.
Yeah. But, yeah, everybody had skeletons in their closet. Everybody says stupid shit in their past. Everyone goes through phases. Everyone goes through a kind of a rebellious stage. Everyone has the political or religious experimentations phase. Why are these things now legitimate game to suddenly ruin a person's life? I don't get it.
Well, and I understand that there's this new culture of I have to vomit my entire life onto the internet for validation, which baffles me, quite frankly. I don't need anybody to validate my existence. But it's the fact that I've been watching a lot of trash internet lately.
Yeah.
And just how many of these people were like, oh my God, you guys, I have to share with you this text conversation that I had with my boyfriend. And then they share screen share the entire conversation with people. Cause apparently you can do that on an iPhone. My phone's not old. Yeah. My phone's too old to do that. But they'll vomit full conversations and put it out there for the public to judge, who's right, who's wrong. And other people get off on reading other people's damage and commenting on it. And then as Cthulhu mentioned, if you have a bad date or a bad breakup, everybody vomits their life onto the internet, and then the internet feels the need to go after people and ruin their lives.
Like people don't lie about how things went.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm upfront with you. This is very controversial. I don't give a shit. That whole thing, girls don't lie about rape. You know what? No. Every man I knew met that one girl who lied about rape.
Mm-hmm.
And in my own life, although no, Sharon did that too.
She did?
Yeah, she used a threat. There was this homeless guy that started insulting her and calling her a bitch, and he's a guy on crack, and she took it real.
Well, Sharon also was nothing against this. I think it's actually a nice idea, except she's crazy and she wasn't doing it for altruistic reasons. Sharon would befriend the homeless in the community. So
I think she was a misery tourist.
Yeah. So the fact that she runs into a bad apple. I mean,
no, it was San Francisco, and they're just crawling the streets there. And
yeah.
One night we're walking, and this black guy comes out of nowhere and says something very inappropriate about her ass or something. And she yells back, like, why are you even talking? The guy is a crackhead.
Why are you engaging in this?
And he just kept going. And she just exploded on him and said, you're black and you're homeless. I can tell the police that you raped me and they'd believe me. You keep going. I'll report you as a rapist and I'll ruin your life.
I'll ruin your life. Lady, how are you going to ruin this guy's life? He gets arrested. He gets 3 hots and a cot.
But you remember Indie Spinner Act, Mr. Phil?
Yeah. Oh yeah, God.
He hit a guy over the head with a brick because this girl convinced him. He was dating a girl who'd convinced him
that she had been raped.
and she kept going on and on sobbing about this rapist. So he went out and hit the guy in the head with a brick, and she got pissed off.
Yeah.
And then confessed she made it all up.
It's like, that's terrible.
And then on college, there was the whole thing where the Black Student Union and the Feminists were at war with each other because this girl had invited in 2 Black high school students into her dorm, and when she got caught, she said they would rape her. They had raped her, and suddenly she was a hero. So, I mean, I have met so many girls that have claimed rape when it's not true.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm going to get a little more coffee.
You're going to get more coffee? Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, to believe anybody on the internet about who did what on a date.
Well, and see, that's the thing, is the fact that there are so many deplorable people out there who will make shit up, or just vomit bad experiences in general, and look for the court of public opinion to cast judgment on the other person. I don't understand that mentality that you can't deal with your problems on your own. It's one thing to say, you know what, I had a really shitty day and I just need to vomit it into the ether and just put it out there to get it out of my head. Okay, I get it. I think a lot of people do that, and there's catharsis. It's cathartic. I can't talk today. It's therapeutic. It's another to say, oh my God, you guys, this horrible thing happened. Here's, look, I recorded the entire conversation with my boyfriend and he didn't know it. Or here's my entire text conversation. Or, just plain, recounting an experience, and not only putting it out there for people to side with you so that you can say, I've got thousands of people who think that you're an asshole, but then, as Cthulhu Fatang said, people on the internet are so empty and so broken, they will take up the cause and decide to hunt down perceived assholes, track down where they live, endanger their livelihood, endanger their jobs, do smear campaigns. What the fuck have we come to, where people are so empty they have to insert themselves into other people's lives? It's one thing to vomit your damage onto the internet. It's another to be so damaged that you decide that you're going to be a judge, jury, and executioner for somebody else's drama. What the fuck? So yeah, I totally understand with that minefield why people are, nervous. And he also brought up the fact of, like, I know a lot of people who have turned to dating sites in order to try to find people. And
trans people ruined it.
Yeah, there was a time where there were a few sites that actually, I would say, were good. You had to pay for it, but they were good. I know 2 couples who met their soulmates using it wasn't match.com. It was God,
it was.
Was it Match? Okay. Robert and
Mike.
Yeah, Robert and Mike both.
Yeah, but I don't know if a soulmate was really what Mike needed. That just made him worse.
He's happy, so good for him. Who am I to judge? He's happy.
He's become a sleazy porn guy.
But he's happy.
Yeah, I don't want to be anywhere near him.
If that's really where his life path took him, good for him. I'm not gonna judge that. He's not diddling kids. That's the only important
He's just
thing.
a greasy dirtbag now.
Yeah. It's all adults and it's all consensual. So good for him. But it's not for us. It's good for him. He's over there. But yeah, I've known 2 people who found their soulmates doing that. And yeah, what Cthulhu Fatang brought up is we all know that people lie on those dating sites. It's going to happen. People are going to lie. They'll use a picture of themselves from 10 years ago. They'll embellish what their activities
I don't want to
are.
brag, but my dick is 15 inches.
Yeah. It's like you got to flip the ruler over.
Yeah.
But it's that fact that you have to it's the minefield now of, yeah, if you want an actual biological gender, you got to watch out for that, and you're seen as a bigot if you find out otherwise.
No, there is a way around that.
Mhm.
There is a way to get rid of those people.
Yeah.
It's very easy when you put in your bio
Mm-hmm.
that you want either, like if you're a man and you want an actual woman,
Mm-hmm.
you say that you've got an ovary fetish.
Okay.
That sorry ladies, if you don't got ovaries, it doesn't do it for me.
And the thing is just, yeah, I know you're joking, and it's also true, but it's the fact that you have to put something like that in there. I'm like, we live in a time where we actually have to put that.
Yeah, we're so open and free, nobody's free.
And it hurts my head.
It is interesting that it seems like the utter downfall of this culture came to a head at the trans issue.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, feminism was doing a great job of it.
Well, when the trans issue came up, it suddenly calls all of their agendas into question, and suddenly it's like, where do you draw the line?
On the one end, I'm glad that feminists have woke the hell up and are pushing back. On the other end, it's like, you created this, bitch.
Mm-hmm. No,
you made this.
They did create it.
It was all of that bullshit feminist propaganda and rhetoric and lingo that they came up with in the 70s that made this possible.
Mm-hmm.
All this gender doesn't exist crap made this possible.
And now they're ruining the day.
Yes, they are. So you had some comments here.
Oh, it just looked like people were saying good things. Like Catherine says, obesity epidemic doesn't help the dating prospects.
No, it doesn't. Seriously, look. Cut out wheat, cut out mayonnaise, vegetable oil if you can. I'd say cut dairy if you can.
Mm-hmm.
And sugar.
And
believe it or not, it is a hell of a lot easier than you think.
Mm-hmm. No, and don't do it all at once. Don't cut everything out all in one.
Start with mayonnaise.
Yeah, start with
mayonnaise.
Yeah, start with mayonnaise, and then say, okay, what can you live without? And actually, there's a lot of wheat-free options out there. So,
and see, he got the joke about Bizarro. I mentioned Corky the last time I did that joke, and she said, "Who?"
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah, I think Corky should make a comeback as Bizarro. We'll get him jacked on steroids,
That would be good.
Or they could just get him the puffy muscle suit like Ben Affleck.
I wasn't thinking Ben Affleck. I was thinking of
no, that outfit Ben Affleck was wearing.
No, Nick Cage's outfit.
Oh, jeez.
That'd be better. Although I swear, if I had my dream cast, I want Nick Cage as Bizarro.
Yeah.
I totally want that.
That would work.
I mean, I know it's not Superman like he wants, but I want Nick Cage as Bizarro. Samueli, so many regular or thin guys with land whale women in my city. I see all sorts in my job.
Are they Navy?
Navy men like their boats. Let's see. Bjorn Smith. Woke internet culture is easy to forgive if you are liberal commies. Love. Look on Alec Baldwin's shooting incident, and conservatives will get crucified by the media. Dave Chappelle got banned by Netflix for his joke.
And that kind of shows you where things rank these days.
Mm-hmm.
Trans people now rank above women. They rank above Black Muslims.
Yeah. Yeah.
How did we come to this? Why are we even giving a shit what this minor fraction of mentally ill people think?
Or abused people.
Look, there could be an argument for brain wiring, sure. But at the end of the day, if your brain does not match what you think your body is, you've got a mental disorder.
No, I'm thinking of all the kids that have been forced into it.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, no, I agree with it. And that's the other thing is just that, girls now, if you like playing sports and you like science, it used to be, oh, you're a tomboy, big deal, you're a tomboy. Now it's, oh, you're a lesbian. And then you go to, so you get shoved into the lesbian category. And as you get older, you continue to like boy stuff. It's like, oh, you must actually be a boy.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And now, apparently, tomboys are sexist.
Yeah, saying, tomboys are sexist. No, they're actually, men in women's bodies.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That's not really a woman. Real women don't do that. Real women don't do those things.
You know what? It just occurred to me that I think on a psychological level, that's another way of trying to get rid of the competition, because tomboys hang out with men. Therefore, they have more, theoretically speaking, they have more prospects because they hang out with men. They're in men's circles. They understand, how men think, and they tend not to be bitches. So they tend to get more prospects.
Well, let me tell you, who did they chase out immediately when all the chicks started flooding into comics? They got rid of the tomboys. They chased them out first. So yeah. All these guys are so great. Women are coming into this. They're not into this.
No,
they're not. They're just here to wreck it.
Mm-hmm.
Just like they wrecked science fiction and the skeptic movement and Star Trek. And
yeah.
I mean, the women who already were into this stuff were already there.
Well,
when they were getting rid of booth space for actual artists and writers so that the girls could have a fucking fashion show at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Like, no, these bitches are not into it. Oh, look, I made my Captain America shoes match my Captain America dress. Oh, yeah, you're a fan. Uh-huh.
And the thing is there are really talented cosplayers out there who genuinely love the industry. Can we cosplay for one? And so I know that they're out there. I just remember I think it was, if it wasn't at Comic-Con, it was at WonderCon. There was a woman, very talented seamstress. So I'm not bashing her ability. She was very talented. But she made a TARDIS ball gown complete with a hoop skirt underneath. And so the ball gown was blue, and she had done the piping to make the doors of the TARDIS. And then she had rigged it up so that the front of the skirt part opened up. And she had an image of the interior of the TARDIS in her skirt. And I told her, wow, that's, that's very impressive. And I said, so I take it that Tennant, because that was the style of TARDIS she was doing, David Tennant's your favorite Doctor? And she goes, oh, I don't watch the show. It's like, I now hate you.
Exactly. What are you doing here? Yeah. How does that have anything?
You put all this effort into a pretty dress that you have no love for.
Exactly.
Or there is a girl that I saw had a great, was it Rule 32 Fifth Doctor outfit. She was cosplaying as female Peter Davidson. And I loved the outfit, and I was talking to her about where she got components, because I do plan on making a Peter Davidson cosplay. I asked her, did you find a pattern, or did you buy some of these things off the shelf? And I asked her, so is Davidson your favorite Doctor? And she says, oh, yeah, I don't actually watch the show. My boyfriend does, and he thought it would be cute for me to do this. And it's like, I don't hate you, but I now have less respect for you. That you don't even watch the show, and you made this cosplay.
Space Ghost, I don't hate you. I loathe you.
Yeah. And it's just, why are you here then? Why are you here?
Especially when they bitch about everything and how everything needs to change to suit them. Now, I'm going to make a point, okay? Going to make a point about people who belong there and people who don't. And we should have never put up with this shit, okay? All these fashion conscious girls, fucking Heather Antos, totally fake.
Yeah.
Totally fucking fake. Got a job because she's a cutie. That's it. All right. This is Satin Phoenix. Now, those of you who might be more into perverse things might know her from somewhere else. Oh, you know who this is?
No, I don't actually. I just find that funny.
We met her. I only know of Satin Phoenix because we boothed next to her once.
Oh, okay.
And she makes her primary income on porn.
Oh, I remember her.
She does porn, and she's an amateur artist.
Yeah.
She had a booth, and the thing was, she was there because she actually is into this stuff. I mean, I sat down and, at first I thought, oh, great. Another porn actress, a porn performer here to cash in on dorks.
Yeah.
Now, granted, she was selling signed pictures of herself as well as her own art. But I was talking to her. She knew her shit. She absolutely knew her shit. She was there because she liked this stuff. She read the comics. She played the games. She knew every episode of MST, which kind of... That's how we started talking, remember?
Yeah.
Because we kept making MST references, and then she started making them back.
Yes. I do remember that.
So, you know what? Yeah, maybe she does a questionable career. So what? At the end of the day, she was there for the right reasons. Fine.
So, okay, that's good. Welcome to the club.
Exactly. Did she get kicked out? Did she have any problems there?
No, she didn't.
No. The only time she encountered problems was the moment the chicks were let in. Okay.
Catherine, I'm so glad I'm mostly a lurker online who didn't make accounts and post my opinions. If anyone found evidence of my teenage atheist edgelord phase, I think I would die of embarrassment.
No, I had that too, but don't worry about it. Look.
I'll go through that.
We all grow up, okay? And, some of us actually have good reason for it. Sometimes it's important to go through that phase. The atheism movement did actually serve a purpose. The problem is a lot of them didn't mean it. And the fact was there was a period in the 80s and 90s which the church was, or the religious evangelicals that were trying to censor and ban everything. And they were a bunch of self-righteous dipshits. I lived in a town where they had their youth group go to all the hangouts that I went to harass us and shove flyers in our face and tell us about how we're going to hell, and they were obnoxious and they'd bully people. Yeah, fuck them. They needed to be kicked off their pedestal. That's fine. It's when that fight was over. When that was over, the ones who didn't want to put it down, the ones who didn't want to stop.
Yeah.
When it really was just about anti-theism, not leave me alone.
Yeah. I know 3 women who lied about rape when they were in high school, and this was a tiny school. Shit. Women provoking men into beating up other men by lying about rape or abuse is so common. Unfortunately, it is.
But yet we're supposed to take their word for it.
And it's that listen and believe. It's like, what about listen and then think critically about it. I'm not going to believe every fucking thing I'm told because people lie. What?
Does size matter, Cat? Oh, she's looking at her tits.
Oh, dick size. Yes. Yes, it does. I'm sorry, it does. But
You're 5'7", though.
Yes, I am 5'7". I'm sorry, I'm laughing because a story my mom told about a boyfriend that she had
Oh.
where she said that it was such a disappointment because the largest one she ever had, the guy didn't know how to use it, and it was so disappointing. It's like, oh, I'm sorry, honey. But yeah, size matters. Size definitely matters, but also knowing how to use it matters. So Bjorn, men got rape and no women, and men bear false witness against others, turns out to be innocent, yet the records are ruining in this world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Although even that's beginning to change.
Oh,
But the problem is men just aren't dating at all now.
Yeah, men aren't dating at all. Men aren't, putting themselves out there.
Mhm.
And it's sad because I know there are good women in this chat who need a good man, and I totally understand why the guys don't want to be out there.
Oh, go ahead.
Star Storyteller, mayonnaise is good fat though.
Well, wait, are you talking about that crappy spread that comes out of a factory that you buy at Walmart?
Or real mayonnaise.
Or real mayonnaise?
Real mayonnaise is fine. In moderation. All things in moderation. But real mayonnaise is fine.
Yeah, real mayonnaise tastes totally different.
Well, it's got different components in it. It's egg whites and vinegar pretty much. A little oil too, but anyway. Redneck, skinny guys and land whale wives. I just remembered Steve Shives used to be a person.
Yeah, we saw that same phenomena.
Mm-hmm.
But, like Steve Shives, he used to be a person, gets hooked up with this land whale of a domineering, cunt,
Mm-hmm.
and he becomes a hollow shell of a man.
Yeah.
That was Alistair from Pseudopod.
Yeah.
It destroyed that entire, it destroyed the escape artists.
Yeah, it did.
He bought the company, he took it over, married a land whale that was a domineering cunt. It's gone.
And Pseudopod became all whamming.
Yep.
All whamming all the time.
Yep. And nobody, suddenly quality went to shit.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody listened. Nobody was given the money anymore.
Yeah.
See, what I say, you let the chick in,
Mm-hmm.
everything just goes to shit.
Is the was it Yoko syndrome?
Yeah. Yeah, I honestly think that's really why they don't want women in the priesthood.
Oh, because of Yoko syndrome?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it is actually. It's that it's a couple of things, but it's part of it.
They don't want the chick brigade environment. I really think that's it.
It's the
gay men need a special place too, Dan.
Well, they do, but it's also the men think differently.
Yeah.
And men will follow orders. Chicks will follow blindly until they don't want to anymore, and then they will backbite and cause problems.
Oh, and rumor mill and backstab and all that other fun stuff.
Men are more likely to argue and leave.
True. Which is why you want a lady with a fair amount of testosterone in her.
Mm-hmm. Star. So here's one thing I wonder about: women get privileges because they create children, correct? What would trans people offer to society?
Right now, what they're offering is an excuse to destroy other people.
Mm-hmm.
They're a useful tool.
Yeah, they are a useful tool. They're an oddity. They're a freak show. Come look at this thing.
They're the new court eunuchs.
They are the new court eunuchs.
How many empires were destroyed by eunuchs?
Well, a lot of the Chinese ones.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Thank you, Retneck, for correcting me. It's rule 63 for gender swap. Thank you. I always get them confused. Retneck, I kind of wonder why there are fake girls getting into video games seemingly out of nowhere. At least we now have hot people playing games, and the woke are trying to gut it.
I don't know.
Wolf, I was an asshole atheist and an edgelord, but age humbled me. I tend to be a respectful atheist these days, and now a defender of religion, specifically Christianity. Indeed. Retneck, God never said don't get kinky. He said don't get kinky with your neighbors and giving away your secrets to temporaries. Common sense in itself. Fair Maiden, in the early 90s, a church in my hometown had a big bonfire of albums and books. I knew right then I never wanted to be like them.
And
wow.
yeah, it was that attitude that they needed to be kicked off the pedestal.
Mm-hmm.
They needed to be shown they weren't above criticism and mockery.
Yeah.
That was the purpose of it. And once that battle was fought and won, and I had noticed once that battle was fought and won, and there were people on both sides kind of moving past that, that is what immediately was the very, very end of the skeptic community.
Mm-hmm.
Was the ones who did not want to end it. They just wanted to hate conservatives.
Like, no, damn it. There's still more people for me to rag on.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, you're done.
Oh, who was it? Creationist Cat.
Oh.
God, what a fucking cuck.
God, that was weird.
Yeah, talk about someone who is a pure follower through and through.
Man, he flipped like literally overnight. Anyway, pizza power.
Well, he worships at the altar of Hillary.
True.
Because he's a moron.
Because he's a pussy.
So is there anything else in here we want to address?
I don't think so. The Japanese apparently pretend that Yoko Ono does not exist.
Who would want to claim Yoko fucking Ono?
Yeah.
That's kind of like wanting to claim Courtney Love is yeah, someone who's just thoroughly ugly and unpleasant.
Yeah. Endless Nocturne? I found it weird that skeptics acted like they were 100% atheist. I used to love watching cringe Christians get debunked too.
Yeah, it was very obvious that a lot of them were believers and just hated religion.
Mm-hmm. And they have a vendetta against God. Something happened and they hate God now. It's like,
yeah.
Like, no, that doesn't make you an atheist. That you just hate God. Actually, a beautiful book. It's definitely one of those novellas that has stuck with me. The End of All Things. I can't remember who the author is. But he's an atheist through and through. And he's the good kind of atheist, the kind that doesn't give a shit. It's just kind of like, no, we're here and we die. And, it's very much so nihilist. But
Do I know this person?
Probably not. This was in the 30s. Yeah, it was in the 30s. 30s Paris.
Oh, okay.
Because they got bombed.
Oh, Jan?
No. This is a book.
Oh, okay.
No, this is a book. No. Jan escaped Germany.
Okay.
He escaped Berlin during the bombing. So Jan's interesting. Jan's a family friend. No. This book, The End of All Things. He's an atheist. And his girlfriend says that she's an atheist, but then has a kind of a come to Jesus moment where they're in a building that gets bombed and she thinks her lover is dead. And she prays to God saying, look, if you bring him back, I will start believing in you again. And I don't even need to be around him. I just need to know that he's alive. And the lover wakes back up again. And what it was he got a concussion. And that's why she thought he was dead. But she thinks that it was her prayer that brought him back. So she immediately starts distancing herself from him. And he finds out about all this because she dies years later, like 10 years later, she dies and he gets her diary. And he's been pining for her this entire time, and couldn't understand why she didn't want to see him anymore after this bombing incident. And then when he reads her diary and reads how she was so in love with him too, but because of her faith, she thought that her price for him living was that she couldn't be with him. And so he says, I don't hate God because I don't believe that God exists, but I hate her faith in him. And that was amazing to me, that mentality. Anyway, but it's just a story that stuck with me.
Okay, well,
It's like that's an atheist who has a real vendetta against God. But he doesn't believe in the actual thing. He hates the idea of him. That's interesting. That's fascinating. Neostar, indeed. Don't you have to acknowledge God's existence in order to hate him? Therefore, how does an atheist hate God? Exactly.
Yeah, it's devoid of the concept.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I get the feeling a lot of these were just impotent soy boys that were looking at something they could lash out at safely.
Yeah.
And then pretend they were cool.
Oh, I hate it too.
Yeah. Like sticking a bumper sticker on your truck that says, I believe in good.
Well, it's the I was talking with my therapist, and she was bringing up that she works with a lot of people who suffer from lack of dopamine, because they are so much online, so much looking for that dopamine hit of the next little drama, the next little thing to get excited about, the next little thing, the next bandwagon to hop on.
Give up on life then. Just kill yourself if that's what you're living for.
People are having problems where their brains aren't producing enough dopamine, and it's doing horrid things to them. And that's what this world has come to. And I swear that's why you get these situations where people are like, oh, so-and-so is fighting with her boyfriend, I'm gonna dox him and then make hell for him at his work. It's like, why?
Okay, well, I'll have to ask a question then. How does this differ from the housewives that used to survive on hating soap opera characters and then reading tabloids and gossiping to their friends about who they hate?
It doesn't differ. It's actually the exact same thing, right down to the fact of there were soap opera actresses that stopped playing the role 20 years ago, and they're still getting hate mail. They still will have people come up to them on the street and punch them in the face for what their character did to another character 20 years ago.
You bitch.
And that's not an exaggeration. That's actually happened. Where people get so invested in the drama that they think these people are real, or they think that everything that they're seeing is real, and they feel like it happened to them. They start females are susceptible to imprinting outside things on themselves. And seeing, you see a story about a heroine who's misused, and you imprint yourself on that heroine. It's like, that happened to me.
I have to admit, I am a little disturbed by, there does seem to be a certain percentage of people now in this world that can't seem to tell the difference between reality and what goes on the screen, and they really don't. I don't know if it's a lack of actual experience outside the house or what, but there was that whole phenomena where chicks have been seeing so many movies where you see Scarlett Johansson kick the crap out of these tall guys and they think they can fight, and then they get downed in a hit.
Yeah.
And then they're shocked that fighting hurts. Or the riots that we'd had, where how many of those Antifa twits suddenly realized, oh, pepper spray hurts.
Yeah.
Rubber bullets hurt. Remember all the people bitching about, hey, they hurt me at this. Look at this bruise.
Yeah.
It's like, you were rioting, you moron.
Well, these are also the same fucktards who put cement in milkshakes and dump it on people.
And they really thought that it was going to be like what they see in TV.
Mm-hmm.
That it was going to somehow be like adventurous and glorious and
It's I just think of how in San Francisco it got to the point where the cops are like just I'm not even, and if you go to a protest, there's basically a place where you can line up so the cops can say, okay, I arrested you for disorderly conduct. Here's your paperwork. Here's the thing saying that you were released on your own reconnaissance. And then they got to walk away with their little badge of honor for that protest saying, look, I got arrested.
oh, the story I told you?
Yeah.
Okay, those were boomers. Those were boomers, okay? This was the 90s, and it's a bunch of rich boomers with nothing better to do with their kids, college students, all out there protesting the Nike store because they use slave labor, screaming at black kids from Oakland.
Yeah.
Calling them sellouts and shameful and
yeah.
And then you see these at the time they were 40 something, 50 somethings because I was in college, right?
Yeah.
And it was just ridiculous. Okay, you know what, Harold? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. You're gonna do it, dude? Yeah, I'm gonna do it, man. I'm gonna do it. Civil disobedience. And the guy would run out in the street and sit down, and then the cops would pick him up. Hey, how you doing, Jim?
And pick him up, put him in the car.
And they knew him by name. And okay, so I'm in the box. Yeah, you're in the box. You're arrested.
It's just like, look, I got arrested.
Yeah, fight the power. It's like, you guys are losers.
That's where it went wrong.
And it's like, yeah, you guys are making a difference. Yep.
Oh, we missed our storyteller. She had to leave. Underworld. Atheist seems to love the devil and evil, seeing them good and the opposite evil, like how people now hate Jedi but love the Sith, despite all the fucked up shit and the Sith do.
Yeah, I would have to agree that there does seem to be a faction of atheism that seems obsessed with the devil.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I find Lucifer as a fascinating character because when you start reading back, it gets really confusing.
Yeah.
It gets really confusing who's who. It really does.
Well, I'd also say that good is boring, but evil is fun as put in the Christian light. But then you look at other religions like the Norse, and every person, every one of that pantheon has good and bad aspects, and that's what makes them fascinating and relatable.
Well, I mean, the interesting thing about the Lucifer story, especially if you go to pre-biblical sources, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get Yahweh essentially as this vicious bastard who's just cruel. He's not very smart. He can be tricked. He can bribed. He can be bargained with.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, he fits everything. He fits the mold of the demiurge.
Mm-hmm.
And then, not an angel, but a god below him, the second in command, essentially,
mm-hmm.
the number 2 of the Elohim, which were gods.
The Starscream.
Yeah, kind of. He says, you know what? I'm really sick of your shit. He's the light bringer. He's the shining one. He's a bringer of knowledge, and he revolts. And he gets kicked out when he loses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which one's the good guy here?
Yeah.
And if you look at it from a Gnostic point of view, as it was a war against the demiurge, and that the serpent in the garden wasn't Lucifer, but in fact, Natash, or I can't pronounce it. Nashash. Nashash or something like that. I don't know.
Nashash.
Or is it Nacha? I don't know.
Nachash?
Yeah, I can't pronounce it. Was apparently the name of the serpent, and he was a.
Catherine's wanting to know sources. I think she wants this information.
Oh, you mean Fair Maiden White?
No, Catherine.
Okay, I'll have to go dig up the exact sources.
She wants a show about all of it.
Okay, well, I had told you some of them. I'm currently reading a book by a Christian, mind you. I thought it was about reptoids.
Which book is this?
I'll go get. Let's see if I can go pull it out.
Oh, by the way, I vaguely remember ordering that other that gray book for you. I think I ordered it for you. Let me double check. The one by the insane guy who's like, well, I don't know how it flew, but it did.
Oh, Robert.
That guy. Did I order that book for you? I hope I did. If not, I'm doing it now.
Oh,
I did not. I'm going to do that now.
Oh God, what was his name?
The race. I'm on my phone. He's on the computer. Stan Romanek.
Yeah, Stan Romanek, that guy. Yeah, that guy is a fruitcake, but enjoyably so.
It's a nutty one.
So yeah, I had picked up this book called Secret History of Reptilians, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. It's gonna be a nut job talking about reptoids, right?
Mm-hmm.
It isn't. I'm reading and I'm like, well, this is actually really well written for one of these books. Wow, every source is cited. This guy knows what he's talking about. And I realized it's not about reptoids. It's a comprehensive study of the appearance of serpent and reptile imagery through religion since the Sumerians.
Wow.
It doesn't have really, it brings up the modern phenomena of reptoids, but very briefly. He just kind of says, these people are stupid.
I'm looking on the back cover, and it says on a teeny tiny thumbnail, it says also he wrote a book about Nephilim.
Yeah, he'd written a book about Nephilim, he was going through the Apocrypha and reading all. I want to read that one next.
Mm-hmm. We can get you that one.
But that was the current one I'm reading. But I've read other ones where there, the stuff about Natash, and then the Gnostic stuff's difficult because there's no one Gnosticism. Unlike Christianity, where they tried to have this unified faith of a unified narrative. There's one story that they try to stick to. Gnosticism comes in all sorts of flavor, and it's all canon.
It's like a lot of the cults the Egyptians had.
Right. So, you have versions of Gnosticism where Lucifer is the snake and the villain, and you have others where it's like, no, Natach was the snake. He was somebody else who got kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
He revolted against the demiurge and got his ass kicked and got his ass handed to him and was thrown to earth.
So, yeah.
So, yeah, when you get into the Gnostic stuff, it's all canon. And I think that's something we struggle with in this era.
Yeah, no, that's true. We like things cut and dry.
Prior to the rise of the Abrahamic religions, most religions didn't have one continuity.
No, they didn't.
The Norse, it was all, they did not have one single continuity.
Well, when most things are oral traditions, and so you'd have different tellings of the stories going from one village to another. I mean, simply because I've done a lot of research into Egypt, you go up and down the Nile, and every settlement basically had their own interpretation of the stories. And that's why Isis and Hathor are interchangeable. That's why sometimes Sekhmet turns into Bast, and sometimes Sekhmet turns into Isis. There's a lot of interpretation, and it's all canon. And then you have the fact that a lot of these stories are, several thousand years old, that they've evolved over that time too. And so it's like, do you go with the older version of the story or the newer version of the story?
Or the fact that there are versions of the Norse mythology where Odin and Loki are brothers. They're not father and son. There are versions where they're brothers.
Yeah.
And so that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, there are so many different versions of what happens in the garden. Like, apparently there are Gnostic and earlier versions where the snake had sex with Eve, not tempted, had sex with Eve and produced Cain.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but you see, prior to a certain date, it was okay if everything was canon.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You'd figure after reading all the Marvel and DC books and none of it makes sense that everything that shouldn't be that difficult a concept.
It's kind of the same thing. Well, but the thing is that you go into reading Marvel and DC knowing that these people have never existed.
Although reading this book about reptilian imagery through history, this guy just tears the whole Anunnaki UFO shit.
Yeah.
He just tears it to crap.
Yeah.
Just pointing out, okay, here's where all the places Sitchin lied. Here are all the places where he made shit up. Here's the actual source material that he was claiming said this.
So do your people feel more comfortable knowing that this guy has uncovered the truth?
Yeah, I do. They're just space bastards.
Yes.
They didn't create Earth. They didn't. They're not the best.
They're not the best. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of people who think Satan's great. That's
true Satanists are kind of
well, Satan as was it Shaitan the accuser?
Yeah, Shaitan the accuser.
Prior to becoming the villain in Abrahamic religion, there was this character of polytheistic Judaism, and they got this from the Canaanites, and was it the Phoenicians, I think? Or
yeah, that sounds about right.
Which was that Yahweh was number one God, and then he had 12 gods under him. Lucifer being one of them, Natash being another. But that Shaitan was the accuser, and he actually worked for God. And his job was essentially what happens in Job, where he's just going around constantly trying to tempt somebody to do something wrong. So that finally when they do something wrong, you can say, hey, God, this guy fucked up. Punish him.
Yeah, I just have to
and I wonder if that's where the Job story first.
I gotta wonder too, especially because it's like, Satan goes up to heaven and says, "Hi, God." It's
how
like,
you doing?
Why is he there? When I was a kid, I questioned that, and that my teachers didn't like that.
And the whole idea that he goes around, and the whole idea the devil made me do it. Get away from me, Satan. Well, kind of makes more sense if there's the notion there's this guy that's always there trying to put bad ideas in your mind.
Well, it also brings new context to Jesus being tempted in the desert.
Yeah,
because he's out there fasting, he's got no water, he's by himself, and he's thinking about the fact that he's going to die very soon, and Satan, Lucifer, the devil, I don't remember what name they gave him in the Bible, comes to him and starts saying, well, you are a demigod, you are half a god, you can do a lot of things. If you're thirsty, you can make water come out of this rock. If you can make bread appear, you can do all these things. You don't have to do this. And so it makes more sense if if it's a Shaitan the accuser basically sent to him, and it's God the Father testing,
not God the Father, Yahweh.
Sorry, Yahweh testing to make sure, are you up for this?
Are you really going to sacrifice yourself?
Yeah,
to pay the debt.
And to me, looking at it that way, that makes more sense to the story. It's like, are you really?
Which then lends credence to the idea that there is a second Bible that the church and the clergy get up top in the Vatican. It tells a different story.
Yeah.
Which is another suspicion.
Yeah. Bjorn, some fundamental Christians and early Jewish rabbis said the serpent knocked up Eve, got Cain out of this sexual relation. The serpent in the Bible represents knowledge, sexual his seed.
And okay, where was the person that said, well, if he's not fully human, Cain isn't fully human? Somebody said that.
Yeah. Problem is, yeah, there it is. Redneck, my problem about that story is that Cain would be an entity not fully human, making murder a foreign concept by species.
The idea was, I know in Gnosticism, the idea was there were two strains of human.
Mm-hmm.
The sons of the snake
Yeah.
and the sons of Adam, hence the phrase sons of Adam.
Yeah.
And that Cain discovered farming and murder, and his son, or was it his grandson, Tubal-Cain, created weapons. And the idea was that these were the smart ones. They were blessed with knowledge, but that knowledge came at a terrible price,
Mm-hmm.
and that they were always striving to try and escape the bad side of what they do. That, yeah, they made tools, but those tools could kill.
Yeah.
Which is an interesting take on things. Again, in this regard, it's all canon.
Mm-hmm.
None of them agree. It's okay.
Well, it's also, you definitely get the idea that these are stories to try to work through bigger concepts.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly.
Get thee behind me, Satan. That still makes no grammatical sense.
Oh, sure it does. It's like, devil, I'm going to turn around and you can kiss my ass.
Yes, actually, yes.
Let me be right back.
You see this butt? Kiss this butt.
Hey, devil, see this? Munch on this cornhole.
Munch on this cornhole. Look at that. Look at these dudes. All right, let's find something else. Get thee behind me, Satan. My grandma was big on rebuking in our house. Really? She'd do that a lot? Interesting. I never knew somebody who would do that. So that, or who was that religious. So that's interesting. So animals can speak in the Garden of Eden. Well, according to Genesis, the snake could. I guess none of the other animals were important enough to have lines. So I couldn't tell you if the other one spoke or not. I think Adam talked to them a lot, especially when he was lonely before Eve came along. But anyway, oh, Redneck's got a good comment for you. I'll wait till you get back. Ishi must get more caffeine. Gray aliens live off of caffeine. Did you know that? Let's see here. I'm going to have to wait for Ishi to come back to respond to a bunch of your comments. So I do apologize for the radio silence at the moment. I am not sick. I am not. Power of positive thinking. I am not sick. I think it's just allergies because we've been having all these storms. Let's see here. Fair Maiden White. Bjorn saying to Fair Maiden, true, Satan is an accuser. You know, that's the other thing is, on a personal note, as far as the idea of a being whose job is to get humans to fall off the path, I've always loved the concept of, people say Satan's the father of lies. I personally think that that's too easy. It's too easy to lie to somebody. It's much worse if you've never lied to somebody, if you tell the truth to somebody and you can still get them to sin. You can still get them to fall off the path, because then when they get pissed off about it, they're like, you made me do this. Like, no, I didn't make you do anything. I told you the exact truth the entire fucking time. You made all the decisions. And that was the great thing about the film The Devil's Advocate until the last 5 minutes. I believe that you just pretend that those last 5 minutes don't exist, because it's obvious that the studios are like, well, we need an uplifting ending, so we'll pretend that none of that happened. But the whole story, he is presented the entire time with all these opportunities to get out and to leave, and he never takes them. And that is why he gets corrupted, and I love that.
Well, I was also going to mention, we're always hearing, Satan is the prince of lies, the deceiver, all those other things.
Yeah. It's like, no.
He never lies in the Old Testament. In
No, he
fact, the
doesn't.
one who lies is Yahweh.
Mm-hmm.
Yahweh lies, he breaks his promises, changes his mind on a whim.
Haha, I fooled you. Don't kill your son.
Yeah, I mean, he does not come across as an all-knowing being.
Yeah. But anyway, I just to me, I really prefer the concept of no, the devil never lies.
Well, on the other hand, the other thing to keep in mind, and I'm going to, every listener, take this to heart. We're talking about mythology.
Mm-hmm.
Mythology serves a completely different function to theology. They
Yes.
serve different purposes. They're different things.
110%. Seriously. This is, yeah, this is looking at it from a mythological standpoint.
And we need mythology.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway.
Redneck, guess there is a parallel to Scientology. Evil ideas are placed in my head by space people. She needed caffeine to answer this one.
David Icke stole half of his ideas from Scientology. A large chunk of what David Icke says is pretty much rebranding Scientology.
I wondered about
as
that.
Huggy, lovey-dovey, new age crap.
Mm-hmm.
Good feelings will fight off the reptoids. Buy my book.
Happy feelings all of the time. Wolf 10, Tools to Kill. Is that a 2001 reference?
It wasn't, but there's a lot of theories that that's what that film's about.
Which also fits with the book. And if you've ever read the book, it fits.
Yeah.
Although I'm sorry, I love the fact that in the book, humans find the monolith on the moon, and it sends out that beacon, and then goes dormant. It has served its purpose. Its purpose was to tell the aliens that put it there that humans had gotten to the moon. That was its whole function. And this was thousands of years ago, so those aliens have evolved. They've gone off to do other things. They've got other science experiments and projects, and this beacon comes in and they go, oh shit, we forgot about that. Fuck. What were we gonna do again? Oh yeah. The next goalpost is Jupiter. Okay, no, or is it Saturn? It's Saturn in the book. So it's like, okay, we'll put the other monolith out there at Saturn, then. But I mean, in the book, Clark flat out says they forgot about us.
He put a lot of weird, creepy Masonic shit in that film.
Yeah, he did. But it's
and he
fine.
was a little obsessed with the boy and girl. Well, we'll go another time. Another time.
Passerby. Satin Phoenix found her niche now in the Dungeons and Dragons 5e sphere and was an employee of WotC.
Oh God, I hope she didn't go woke. I don't understand how she could go woke. Seriously.
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I cannot see the name WotC, Wizards of the Coast, without thinking of the Wizards of the Coast store that was at Mission Valley.
Yeah.
Because their septic system was broken all the time. So that store smelled like ass every single day. It smelled like ass and air freshener, and they never fixed it. And so I can't see WotC without immediately getting the smell of ass and air freshener. It's ruined the company for me, which is fine because
they ruin their own company.
Yeah, WotC are assholes. Fuck their shit. Bermendo. So where did the tribe of Cain's wife come from?
Well, it certainly would imply that there were other gods making other people, doesn't it?
That's been the big question that always came up.
Seems kind of interesting that that would be there, huh?
I was the asshole who asked that question in my religion
It
class.
certainly does imply that there were other gods making other peoples,
We were always
and that the people the people that Yahweh created were His chosen people.
we were always told that they were the daughters of Adam and Eve, and it's like, so we've got incest going on. And then later, my mom was reading books where it's Lilith and her kids, and that's where they all came from.
Lilith was a freak.
Lilith was a freak. What?
But Lilith is also the mother of night terrors. She's visited me way too fucking much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Bitch, moving in on your action. Do something about it.
I do. Every time, I realize you're having a bad dream, I shove my tits in your face, and that wakes you up.
She's not making that up, by the way. That is actually true.
It's true. It's true.
Well, usually. I mean, there was the time I punched the window half asleep.
Yeah, that was... Anyway.
I got up, stumbled, screamed, and punched the window, and then I asked her what I was doing.
He didn't break it. I don't know. You actually didn't hit it that hard. I think I think in your dream you hit it harder than you actually did. So.
Well, it knocked me over, so I couldn't have hit it that well.
No, what happened was I couldn't tell if you were actually trying to punch the window or if you were falling and your hand was going out to catch yourself until I realized it was a fist. So you kind of threw your body at it and then woke up. Redneck, I already mentioned the interpretation that the snake was Samael, the angel of death. I remember it being in Hebrew origin.
I just looked up Nachash. God, I can't say that word.
Nashash?
It's a Middle Eastern word.
Yeah.
Blah-diddy blah blah. Oh, well, that certainly helps.
Huh?
Nachash means serpent in Hebrew. And serpent did this.
Oh, his name is Snake. Okay.
And then he chased Coyote, and they
battled Roadrunner.
And the two tricksters hung out together, foiled by Roadrunner.
Yeah. Oh, man. Let's see here.
Why do we keep ending up on religion? I mean, it's fun.
Because, well, in this case, it's how do you find good people to date who aren't going to fuck you over? Well, find somebody with morals. Well, how do you know that they have morals? Well, they've found religion, for one.
Yeah, that is actually one thing I've found. Although I am not a believer in any way, just not in me, as I've gotten older and things have gotten more woke, I've had to turn to primarily hanging out with people who have some sort of Christian moral foundation, because they have a moral compass. Oh. They've got a code. They're going to live by it.
I spent, a good chunk of, I spent my entire childhood at a Lutheran private school. So it was drilled into my head what you do and do not do.
My experience with Lutherans, they had always been very lax, very kind of.
I call it Christian light. The joke of you have your church and then you go down for punch and cookies afterwards is not a joke.
Yeah. Let's see if this.
Redneck, there are many things I find across many takes that I find interesting, but not solely taking it as what I find true. I take the events as application and practice and warning in my own life.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Damien, what do you think of stories where humans are the ancient aliens, such as Stargate or Halo franchise?
What do I think?
Stargate humans aren't. Okay, well.
Wait, they are the ancient aliens?
Stargate humans were not the ancient aliens. Aliens came here and tried to subjugate us. And then
Stargate basically took the whole Anunnaki,
Mhm.
Zachariah Ascension stuff,
Yeah.
and tried to actually make it make sense.
Well, it began with a real Egyptologist
Yeah,
writing it.
a really Egyptologist said, okay, let's take these wacky ideas and actually give it consistency and
Yeah.
make it work.
And I'll be honest,
And it's a
I
fun film.
I love that film so much. And I did watch the show while it was on regular TV. Once Sci-Fi bought it, I dropped out. So basically, it wasn't fun without MacGyver.
And as for Halo, after Halo 2, I didn't play the game ever again, so I have no idea.
Yeah. Well, it's just the same game over and over again.
So we've lost Satin, huh? Okay. Until they turn on her, right?
Yeah. Satin is now Velveteen. Wolf, you'd be hard pressed to find any woke porn stars these days. The ones that are woke are only girls.
Only girls.
That's another problem there.
Trainwreck City. Yeah, the 90 car pileup on the highway of OnlyFans.
Yeah. Yeah, I am 100% fine with adult film stars. That is perfectly fine. It's only girls I have a problem with because they pretend like they're something they're not. Most adult film women, they go in, they get their money, they leave. They know what they are, and that's fine. I'm happy for them. Redneck, religiously speaking, I don't need to see a city turned into a pillar of fire and a donkey screaming at me to make me a believer. I've had my own.
What about that screaming goat that was a meme?
The screaming goat.
Would that make you a believer?
Maybe. Although Bright. I'm going to mispronounce your name, sir. Sorry. Lilith came from the east. No?
I don't know enough about Lilith. I wish I had done more reading, but I don't know. There's so much bullshit because of feminists when it comes to Lilith. There's a lot of crap piled on top, just like trying to research Celts. But thanks to feminists, there's so much bullshit that's been passed off as real.
The closest that I can find, and this is from before things got really stupid, the best that I can find is a broad stroke description, which was God made man and woman together, and that's actually in Genesis where he says he made man and woman, he made them together. It's actually in there. And then that's then changed later to first Adam and then Eve out of the rib. The broad stroke story is that man and woman were created together,
and she wouldn't behave and do what she was told.
Yeah, she wouldn't behave and do what she was told. They had a fight, and she said, "Screw you guys, I'm leaving." And well, some say she left on her own accord. Others say God threw her out. Regardless, she left. But from my understanding, she left pregnant. And that's where some say that's where Cain's wife came from, was from her from Lilith's tribe. Others say Cain fucked his sister. But anyway, that's the broad stroke on Lilith. After that, I have no idea.
Okay, the bit about debunking the Bible, my question is why? If you're debunking it, you're missing the point. Seriously, you're missing the point.
I would like to say with that 100 years ago, even 50 years ago, not 50, 70 years ago. God, if the 50s were 70 years ago. People still did believe that the Bible was 100% true and that it was an actual account. So by debunking, you mean actually like lay out history and get real timelines and other things like that, okay, fine, sure. That's not going to diminish the stories.
Yeah, as far as well, yeah. And I mean, I know that Israel has really gone out of its way to try and prove the Old Testament real to strengthen their claim on the land,
Mm-hmm.
and they found it wasn't helping.
Yeah.
That pretty much they disproved all of Exodus.
Yeah. And the only reason why
And it turns out Masada was a complete lie.
Yeah. No, the only reason why I say that is because so much of the science that came out of the Victorian era was based on the concept that the Bible was 100% real. And it actually hamstrung a lot of scientific achievements.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm quote unquote okay with debunking the Bible, but from before, nowadays it's like, why would you put it in that light?
Well,
It's just anthropology, it's just archaeology, it's just whatever, don't put it in the light of debunking the Bible.
To give it context, in the 1950s, you still had catastrophism as the basis for geology.
Yeah.
Catastrophism being that all land formations had to do with the various cataclysms in the Bible.
Yeah.
That's where mountains came from. That's where continents came from. That's where geological changes came from. And for a long time, it was a religious debate because if continental drift was true, that would disprove catastrophism.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew this way before the 50s, but because of the religious aspect, that did not become commonly accepted till the 50s and 60s.
And I can remember, again, in my Lutheran school, when I had science class, our textbooks actually addressed the different theories. They addressed catastrophism, they addressed continental drift, they addressed all of the different theories, and they said science is now leaning towards continental drift as being the real reason why we have mountains and continents and other things like that. But they had to address all of them.
In earthquake subduction zones. Yeah.
Tualdi, I'm gonna say it right. I'm working on it. I want this fucking relationship. Waking up to boobs on my face.
Well, I know that there are some lovely ladies out there that would probably do that still.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that our listenership has a fair amount of busty women too. So
yes,
see, they're out there.
They are out there. Horrible degeneracy or Christianity. Choose wisely, friendly neighborhood gray.
That's a false. It's not an either or question.
I'm not a degenerate, nor am I a Christian.
Well, he wasn't talking to you. You're not a gray.
He said neighborhood gray. Yes, but you've already chosen.
Oh, is that am I supposed to be saying that?
I don't know.
I thought that was him telling me.
I'm confused.
Maybe a comma or a dash would have helped.
I don't know. Although Eloise says that she chooses none. Winged Yaga production. Lilith has gone through several personas. She's been a succubus, the true first woman, and just an owl. Oh, the owl.
Minerva?
Bohemian Grove?
Yeah, well, but no, that part of the world, Minerva?
Yeah.
Athena?
Yeah.
It's that part of the world.
No, it is. Wolf 10. Personally, I find porn stars going woke ridiculous if they can't even change the misconceptions of outsiders about their profession.
Yeah, I don't get woke porn stars. In fact, I don't really get porn stars in general. It just seems like a very empty life.
Yeah, I guess it depends on what exactly it is you're doing. I mean, Glory Ann definitely, enjoyed it. I know she does
wasn't
softcore.
Porn.
I know she does soft, but
she was flashing her tits on Skin It Max movies. That's not porn.
I know, and dry humping somebody in their underwear, but
yeah,
but still. Underworld. Humans are not the ancient aliens. The ancient crossbreed with humans.
No. You've got great alien genetics in you. No, I can account for that.
Well, your people did want to get disco back.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, now there isn't enough of a genetic likeness that we can just have sex with you. I mean, we still have to extract the sperm and ovum, modify it, putting it into a cloning tank, put the fetus back in the woman, let it stay there for about 7 months, and then pull it back out and put it in an artificial womb. So it's not easy. I mean, it's not like you can just fuck a gray and get a baby. And this whole thing about reptile babies, no, they don't even have genitals. Not like humans do, at least. They got like lizard genitals. And when you hear about reptoid chicks with tits, fake. Reptiles don't have tits.
No, they don't.
Fake. They just kind of ooze milk.
No, that's an echidna.
No. See, they're in between. They're not full reptile.
Oh, they're oh God, I can never remember the name of this evolutionary strain, but it's the evolutionary cul-de-sac that platypuses and echidnas come from. And the echidna is this is true. The echidna is so primitive that it does have mammaries, but it doesn't have nipples, so it sweats out the milk, and then the babies lick it off the mama.
Okay.
So reptoids lick the milk off the mama.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly how it happens. And their skin is more like an armadillo. It's not really scales.
That's pretty cool, actually.
And
or are they like
and they're chronic bedwetters.
Or are they like pangolins?
They're like pangolins.
They're like pangolins?
They're chronic bedwetters too. Horrible people.
Pangolins are cool.
They think it's funny to like shit on your doorstep and then ring the doorbell and leave.
Reptoids do?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Assholes.
See, this is why you get glitter bombs set up. Fair maiden, waking up with boobs on your face isn't all it's cracked up to be, especially when they're your own.
Well, you say you like it.
Yeah, but it is odd. Like, what the hell? Oh, okay. There is some, and I quote, genetic noise in my DNA that they cannot attribute to any particular population. Gray, tall, white? I'm curious.
Ah, you might be a changeling too.
Well, her name, Fair Maiden White.
Yeah, she might be a tall white. Might have some of that tall. She might be one of those hybrids, or an offspring of a hybrid.
Yeah.
It's not just all hidden in your introns, right? It's actually in. That would explain the telekinesis. Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
Should we take our I guess it's not the morning anymore, a morning walk?
Probably. I need a Michael's trip, unfortunately, today.
I thought you liked going to Michael's.
I do, but I wanted to stay in the house. I really didn't want to go out, but I need to go to Michael's today. I need to get pins so I can mount my fairy. Watch my Instagram, people, for my latest art piece. Hey, do you know anything about what Razorfist said about a Catholic priest selling out California to the communists? Because I can't find anything on it.
I'd have to look that up, but you know what? Jesuits have a horrible habit of doing that. You look at South America and Central America, there are a lot of fucking commie Jesuits who are using the church to get these third worlders hooked on the idea that communism's a good idea.
Yeah.
And I don't know why the Jesuits just haven't been excommunicated at this point with their behavior. I mean,
because one's a pope.
Oh, yeah, now. Yeah. I mean, at one point, supposedly they were the Marines of God, but.
Well, I'll be honest. As a kid, I had always been told that they were like the the member of the family you don't talk about. Yes, they're still part of the family, but they're over there, and everybody else, the Catholics, were kind of distancing themselves from them. So it actually shocked and surprised me when we got a Jesuit Pope. So
But yeah,
I am late. Did anyone talk about Naomi Wu in her video about why she got her implants?
when did that happen? Is this a new one? Or is this an old one? She said she got her implants because she wanted a figure. She said, well, she wasn't tall. And in China, apparently, it's very important to be tall.
It's incredibly important to be tall. It means that you're from a royal bloodline.
So she decided she'd be big in another way and be just like her idol, Dolly Parton.
Hey, that's not a bad person to model yourself after.
My only thing is I don't think she's been very smart about her implants. And that's just my opinion. That she really should get higher quality ones.
I agree, but then the question is does she have access to?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Going to a third world nation to get your implants does not seem smart.
No. But
even if they are saline.
But she might not be able to make it to Japan or to the United States.
Japan, Australia, Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
There are a number. Yeah, shit. Yeah, Japan. She's been to Japan. Go to Japan. Get some gummies.
Yeah.
I think her skin's so stretched out they'd actually work now.
Yeah.
But yeah, gummies. Yeah. Anyway.
She can even get the kind that has the MP3 player embedded in it. Considering she's the sexy cyborg. Yang, Jesuits have been compromised for hundreds of years. The order has almost been banned several times in the last 100. Wolf, what are the flaws of capitalism? Because those who point it out are oversimplifying the flaws.
One, as Razor Fist put it, capitalism was never a thing. It's a slur that was made up by Marx to crap on the current system so that he could push his communism idea. He needed a polar opposite. All of Marxism is based on good, bad. One is the oppressed and the other is the oppressor. The oppressor is to be blamed for everything. You can do anything you want to them because it's morally fine because they're bad. And he needed a name for who he didn't like, so he just said, oh, the system's capitalism. What are the flaws of capitalism? Well, since it doesn't exist, it's not really an issue. What we're talking about is free trade.
Mm-hmm.
What is the flaws of real free trade? I mean, what was capitalism before there was capitalism? Seriously. When you had islanders using shells as currency, when you had, was it using little clay figurines to represent what you were trading?
Yeah.
The exchange of goods for labor or something of equal value is not evil. It's not even flawed. It makes sense. It's the best system we've come up with.
Mm-hmm.
And it is based on reciprocation. Very easy. I give you something equal value. We both exchange things we want or need. Where's the wrong in that?
And also the idea that labor services has a value.
Now, you can criticize governments for doing things. You can criticize monopolies for doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And there's ways to take action. There should always be. That's why one reason why everybody should be allowed to be armed. Seriously.
Yeah.
Because it really discourages. And I'm not shitting you. That is one of the reasons we have a Second Amendment. Because our founding fathers believed that you should have a right to own what is yours, including yourself. You should have a right to life and a right to protect those goods and your life.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
If any of those things are taken away, you're not free. Oh, that and your right to speak and think. If those are infringed, you're not free. So no, this whole idea of what's wrong with capitalism, you're trying to take apart what basically is trade of goods of equal value. Now, yeah, What are the flaws? The flaws of daily life. Con artists, liars, cheaters. That's why you have the gun.
And yes, there are those business owners who are not honest, who do try to cheat people, but then there are those business owners that don't. And a free market allows both to exist and both to compete, and people vote with their dollars on who they want.
And centrally regulated and centrally controlled economies fail. They're horribly oppressive. You have no rights, and it's a con job. Well, do you want to be able to have a right to your own property, your own thoughts, and your own goods, and your right to protect them? Or just let the government handle it because they're more moral. They'll take care of you. Trust me.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a ridiculous claim. Now, are there flaws of capitalism? Again,
course.
there is no capitalism.
Well, yeah.
Are there flaws of usury? Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
That's not capitalism.
No.
And, I am all for us kind of maybe rethinking usury as, well, Christianity says don't do it.
Yeah.
Most religions say don't do it. Maybe they had something right there. There is a reason Kat and I have no debt.
No, we have none.
Zero.
I owe my grandmother, but for our house.
Oh, well, that's not usury, though.
No, it's not.
That was actually considered the alternative. That is what you're supposed to be doing.
But yeah, our mortgage is through my grandmother. That's it.
There is no interest on a loan in an Islamic nation. Did you know that?
Well, we are paying interest, but I'm fine with that because it's
your aunt?
Yeah, because it's going to grandma.
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, I'd rather it go to grandma.
See, but she's investing in you.
Yeah.
It's not seen as, oh yeah, I'm going to give you this money, and if you screw up, I get to take all your stuff.
I'm like, no.
No, grandma invested in you because she trusts you.
Yeah. But other than that, yeah, we have no debt.
Yeah, exactly. None. And we're not in debt to any bank.
No.
And yeah, it would change the fabric of our society, but really, is the debt culture that we're in, which isn't capitalism, all that good? No, it's a leash.
Yeah. Well, it's like, yes, I see people who are our age and who are in our income bracket living in bigger houses, and they've got newer cars, and they're taking trips to all these places. It's like, yeah, but how much are you in debt? I'm quite happy where I am. I don't need to owe somebody money in order to be happy.
Yeah, Wolf, what they claim capitalism is simply the exchange of goods for items of equal value. And that value can be of actual worth, or that value can be symbolic.
Real quick, it's goods and services. Specifically goods and services.
Or it could be just something you emotionally want.
And Ayn Rand was 100% right. If you want something and you have earned the money for it, go buy it.
Yeah.
It's your money. You can do what you want. If it pleases you, great. The problem with capitalism is its unequal prosperity. The problem with socialism is its distribution of misery. But I don't agree with that. At least in this country, everybody, I don't care who you are, you can be born in a dumpster or you can have a silver spoon in your mouth. Everybody in this country does have the opportunity to rise up and to achieve whatever lifestyle they want. The problem is that most people don't take the opportunities, and we live in a society where being a sloth and sitting on your ass and having your hand out is promoted.
Yeah.
And it's encouraged. So when you do see somebody who says, no, look, I was, born in a barrio, in a poor family. I was born in, fucking Compton. And they actually are able to work their way up and make something of themselves, they wind up getting shit on.
Yeah.
Free trade is what kills our society now, moves our jobs to China.
There's kind of a slight flaw in that, though. China does not engage in free trade.
No.
China engages in slavery.
Yes.
Those people aren't free.
No.
That is slavery and child labor. Not only that, shipping jobs to China has not been all that good of a. It hasn't been good.
Mm-mm.
And you notice they're having to try harder and harder to justify it because it's not good. One, they keep giving us what? Lead in children's toys, dog food that kills pets, fake vaccines, medical products that are unsafe and have lead in them.
Yeah.
Medications that are wrongly dosed.
Yeah.
Doing business, they will steal all of your trade secrets and use them for themselves.
Mm-hmm. And they feel entitled to do so.
And also that's also rooted in the fact that these businesses have no attachment to the country they're in.
No.
They don't suffer from what they're doing. And as you notice, more and more people are giving options. They're trying to find ways to prevent those options, to go around it.
Mm-hmm.
And also, there is absolutely no reason that you can't, in your own country, say, we refuse to do business with anyone who engages in, well, say, slavery, or who is a mortal enemy of your nation, or engages in communism.
Yeah. Unlike Disney that thanks the slave.
There is no hard rules in how you trade with each other.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't a religion. I find this really silly. Well, capitalism's, it's not a fucking religion. I mean, communism is a religion, sure, but it's not a fucking religion.
No.
It's an agreement.
Mm-hmm.
We can decide what we want to do. We've got to stop acting like, well, that's what the rules say. That's what got us to this point. This whole idea of, well, debauchery, fine. It's like, when I was younger, the notion of gay rights and gay marriage and the availability of illicit materials was all under the notion it's adults. It's adults, and no one's going to be so horribly irresponsible to take it this far. And if they do, we'll do something about it. And somewhere along the line, it just became, oh, well, the rule said it's okay.
Yeah.
And they just kept changing the rules to make it more convenient. The slippery slope argument should have never worked. It should have never been true.
Yeah.
It had always been, well, we're going to be sensible enough. We wouldn't ever let something so ludicrous as marrying kids be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Or cutting kids' dicks off so they can be little girls. How did we get here? Seriously. And the answer is very simple. We have no national identity, or at least a lot of us don't. A lot of us still do. But the ones that are doing this have no national identity, have no moral center. They believe in nothing other than pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
They're nihilistic hedonists. They're scum. And they're scum by choice. They don't have to be bad people. They're choosing to be. It's not like, what's his name? Jeffrey Dahmer. Dahmer was broken. He was born that way. He was going to be a horrible person no matter what. But the people in California are choosing to be scumbags.
I'm invoking M there.
Yeah.
Fair maiden, there is nothing noble about nobility. They bowed to royalty to be wealthy, and royalty, well, reptoid life. No, very true. Victoria, do you think that reason a lot of people in Western will only do English fairy tales because they are ones everyone knows, and also because they don't want to be accused of being cultural appropriation?
No. People only do. Well, wait. We don't only do English fairy tales.
Are you talking like specifically like Disney? Or
I mean, most of the Grimm fairy tales were written by Germans.
Mm-hmm.
And they come from all of Europe and even Russia.
Yeah, Germany, Russia, Sweden,
A little bit of China.
Persia. There's some Persian stories in there.
Yeah, Persian. So that isn't necessarily true. Are they trying to retcon them and destroy them with woke shit? Yeah. That's one of the reasons we're getting those over and over again.
Mm-hmm. Was that a comment about 7 Paquita Vatos?
Vatos.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Siete.
Yeah, I'm perfectly
Siete
fine
Paquito
with a
Vatos.
modern interpretation, but simply just saying she's brown Snow White. I dare you to make less sense. Well, brown can be Snow White. No, actually, it can't. No more than Sean White can be. Or is it Sean White? Or no?
Sean Young?
King.
Oh, King.
No more than Sean King is black. Okay.
Oh, I gotta show you that video I was watching on the dude who identifies his sexuality as Korean.
Oh yeah. Exactly, showing how nonsense all this is.
Mm-hmm. Fizz, I would think more homeless people are able to work their way up to being middle class.
What do you know about homeless people, Fizz Chozo? Seriously, that is one of the lies that communists like to use.
Yeah.
The vast majority of people who are homeless can't ascend the ranks. They're broken. They're mentally ill. They're sick.
I believe the statistic is that people, if you're homeless, if you're able to break away from being homeless after 3 months, then you'll re-enter society and you'll be fine. It's people who are homeless longer than that. Now that statistic may have changed because of COVID and the weird economy that we're in right now. But usually, or is it 2 years? If you can get out of it after 2 years, you'll be good. But after that, yeah, there's something fundamentally broken with you.
Yeah, anyone who can stop being homeless does stop being homeless.
Mm-hmm.
There are two types of homeless people. There are people who are never going to be able to function in society because they can't.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something we as a society need to face. You may hear over and over again from boomers that Ronald Reagan is what put all the mentally ill people out in the street.
Mm-hmm.
That's not true. JFK did it.
Yeah, that was JFK.
That was JFK. It wasn't Reagan. But most of those mentally ill people, most people who quickly become homeless and are able to stop being homeless do so within 3 to 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Then the rest of them, they're incapable, and there's reasons for it. There's a handful of reasons: drug addiction, mental illness, health problems, and sadly, low IQ. There is a certain IQ level where there is no dumber than rocks job for you. I know the U.S. military has like a test, and they've found that there is a certain IQ level where they could not give you a job, even as cannon fodder. You're just too stupid.
Yeah. No, I just know that San Diego for a while there had a rather large population of gutter punks.
That's different.
Yeah.
That is different. And most gutter punks have one of two paths. They usually eventually leave, find a path, or they die.
Yeah.
Gutter punks are a different story. Now, I don't know what it's like now. The whole dynamic's different. But that was largely a phenomenon of Gen X. I don't know what it's like now, but Gen X was thrown away. We were the kids nobody wanted for the most part. We were the kids that ruined the party. We were the ones that let mom and dad know that they couldn't go to Woodstock anymore and do LSD. And we were resented for it, especially when we didn't grow up to be little hippies like them. and do exactly what they wanted us to. And a lot of those kids on the street when I was younger who were gutter punks, who lived in tribes, one, they usually had a squat, and they weren't your typical homeless person squat. You'd find their encampment, and they'd have little stoves and beds, and I mean, it was like a nomadic tribe. They had resources. They'd find ways to get showers. They were existing as they could. And most of them were on the street because they could not make it at home. Either they were getting raped or beaten, or they just could not deal with it any longer. And that's why they were on the streets. So that's kind of a different situation. Sadly, a lot of them also got kidnapped by child traffickers in Hollywood, but
Yeah.
that's a different story. Okay.
Redneck. Some people who are homeless have illnesses, addictions, and the next thing up is squalor, who choose not to work to receive stimulus checks and bring their families down with them.
Yeah. And one of the problems is a lot of those junkies wouldn't be junkies if not for the fact that SSI was buying them drugs.
Yeah.
I'm be honest with you. A lot of them, homeless people don't spend that SSI on food or clothes or anything that you would typically buy with money if you needed them, because they know they all go to places where they can get free shit. You ask a homeless person, they know where to get free clothes. They know where to get free food. They know which restaurants will give it to them afterwards. They know where they can get the water. They know where they can find a place to sleep sometimes if they don't want to sleep on the street.
Mm-hmm.
They save the SSI check for heroin and crack.
Well, I remember your tales of San Francisco, where everybody knew when it was a government check day.
Oh, God, yeah. Because, it was chaos on the streets for a few days where they all just blasted out of their minds. It's not really a grace period. It's just that's how long someone, if they're capable of getting off the streets, they'll get off that quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it's a lot easier for a woman to get off the streets than a man because there's no end to the resources and free money a woman on the street can get.
Yeah.
Vietnam vet, though, with like no legs, fuck you.
Actually, I was thinking of that gutter punk that you met at Comic-Con the last year we were there. He was saying how his girlfriend had a shelter that she could go to, but
he had to sleep outside.
Yeah.
It was fucked. I bought him lunch.
Mm-hmm. No, that was good of you. I actually think of him a lot. I hope that
that he got himself sorted out.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we call it a day?
Yeah, I'm starting to get hungry.
I am too, and we should do that walk.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Yes.
I don't know if this. What the hell do you get out of these casts anyway?
It's a round table where we all get to sit and chat and talk and exchange ideas. Unfortunately, especially depending on what state people are in, there's not many opportunities to do that now.
Hello and welcome back to Clown World TV. Today we're going to talk about the new Marvel movie where they're going to get a bunch of retards. Do you want that? Would we get better ratings if we did that kind of stuff?
You want a morning zoo show? Should I start like breaking out the bicycle horn?
Exactly. Kind of want to get one now just to do it. All right. Be a friend. Support this channel. Go buy my books or my t-shirts. And have a good day.
Decledge got the little people fired.
Yeah, he did. That's funny. The little people acting community is coming down on him like a ton of bricks, calling him a dipshit.
Okay, that's funny. That's funny. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.